Hi there, my name is Val Heminger, and I've been a divorce lawyer for almost 25 years. I am the owner and one of the founders, along with my wonderful law firm family, our team, of Pathway Legal. And in this video, I want to talk to you about spousal support. Essentially, spousal support is when one person pays the other person money because they used to be in a marriage-like relationship, or they were married. So you can qualify for spousal support if you were married, if you were in a marriage-like relationship for 2 years or more, or two, that you were together less than 2 years living together, but then you have a child together. Then spousal support can apply. Every single case is different, and for your case, you want to come and talk to us. Essentially, there's two kinds of support, okay? One is called compensatory spousal support. One is called non-compensatory spousal support. So let's talk about the non-compensatory spousal support first. This is the one that's shorter in duration and also most often relates to people who are married less long. So think about this. Imagine you have a family where a husband, let's say they're husband and wife, and let's say she makes $75,000 a year and he makes $225,000 a year. Okay, so 225, 75, yeah, 300,000. Okay. Now, if they split up, let's even take the kids out of the equation. If we throw kids in there, it shifts a bunch of stuff around in terms of support as well. So now we had a family income of $300,000. Now, what the courts say, our BC law says, well, now if we're going to split up these people into two different households, well, it seems kind of like a little bit unfair that the $225,000 person will continue to have a household with $225,000 and the other person only $75,000. So we call that non-compensatory support. And the non-compensatory support is basically, let's pay support for a period of time, and that can kind of like ease out the transition from going from a $300,000 household to one with much, much less of the income. This doesn't mean that just because you're the guy you have to pay support, or just because you may be in a traditional type relationship that you get support. It all depends upon the numbers. The second kind of support is the compensatory support, and that is what is built into the suggestion. It was because of the one spouse's sacrifices that made the other person's career flourish. I like to use the example of a couple who meets when they're in their undergraduate. And what ends up happening is that the mom, and this is many cases that we've seen, she ends up dropping out before she finishes her undergrad because she gets pregnant, or they decide to start a family early, or whatever the circumstances are. And then the dad goes on and he becomes a physician, and he makes, let's say, $450 or $500 a year. Meanwhile, she only has her grade 12 and she doesn't even have her degree yet. But that's fine because she's happy to look after the kids, and he works long hours and things are going great. And it's 30 years later, and then all of a sudden he says, you know what, I'm going to do something else, or she says, no, I'm tired of you, or whatever happens. And so in that particular case, there's a built-in assumption that half of his income is hers as well. It's because she's being compensated for her contribution. The idea being that if he had 3 kids and didn't have her support, he wasn't going to make the kind of money he does. He wasn't going to be able to go to medical school. He wasn't going to be able to make as much money as he was able to earn throughout the years. So that's compensatory support. And again, every single case is different. So did one of you stay home and look after the kids so the other person could work? Did one of you leave a good job and relocate to another jurisdiction to support your spouse? We see this a lot with military family. Did either of you rely significantly upon the other person for your support, for your food, groceries, mortgage, all that kind of stuff during the course of your relationship? So those are the kinds of questions. And again, every single case is different. So if you have a question about spousal support, whether or not you're going to be paying how much for how long, or whether or not you're entitled, and if you are, for how much for how long. And sometimes what we have is we have a situation where we impute income to somebody. And what I mean by that is that maybe they have income that isn't showing up on their Revenue Canada tax return. So I think about a case that I had once where the dad was supposed to pay support. He said he only made $20,000 a year, but it didn't seem like that because of how he dressed, what he drove, the fact that he always seemed to be working on a job site under the table, it appeared. And so in that particular case, what we were able to do was got his Visa cards, and we're able to show that the amount of money that he was spending on entertainment, bars, restaurants, going out having a good time, not paying child support, we were able to have income imputed to him in a way that was more fair. Because again, the thing about child support, it is not the mom's right or the dad's right. It is always the right of the child. If you want to talk to us about your spousal support questions, call us 250-220-8686 or contact us from that form down there. Okay, bye-bye.